Hello, everybody. How are we all tonight? Thank you guys for joining in. Well, I know it's almost midnight for some of you, and just want to say thank you guys for joining me so late tonight. Um, and yeah, we're doing another ornament tonight. So I actually did some of the prep work just to speed up a little of the time tonight. But let me stop this for now and see who's here. Okay, so hello, Miss Linda Faust. Thank you for joining tonight. Hey, Cam, how you feeling, girl? Hope you're doing better. Sorry if my voice sounds like it's a little scratchy. I think I'm coming, actually, I'm getting over a cold over the past couple days. And so my voice now is starting to go. So I'm going to try and keep tonight a little bit short. But hopefully we'll get at least the ornament done. Hey, Jackie. Thanks for joining. It's windy here tonight. Cool temperatures and even colder wind chills. Ooh. I wish I was there, Kim. Let's see who else is here. Linda Moon is here. Thank you, Linda. Hey, Jeannie Wallen. Mona did what? Hey, Mona. I love that name. Hey, Pat. Thanks for joining. Shirley Kissinger. Thank you for joining tonight. And around to it. Thanks for stopping by. I got a good report from the home care nurse today. She took a look at the incision and said, I'm healing beautifully. That's great news, Kim. That's great news. Okay, sorry, I don't have my second camera set up, so I can't do a face shot of me, but so it's just going to be the hands tonight. And so let's get started with this. So if in case you were not part of or you didn't catch the live last night, this is the completed ornament with all the embellishments that I did. What I ended up doing, well, last night I think I stopped at just putting this bow and the hanger on. I think I put the bells, and then I put the ribbon on here. But then I took a look at it and I said, no, let's just do something a little more with it. So I decided to put all the beads. I don't know if the light will capture that, but all of these beads, yeah, one by one, I put them in right on the seam. And I'm kind of glad with how this came out. Hey, Zakaya. Thanks for joining in from Michigan. A friend came and set my sewing machine up on my table today so I can do some free motion quilting. Well, that's great news, Kim. Okay, so this was the ornament from last night. We're going to make something similar to this tonight because someone suggested that instead of using the part that had the print, I'll just use the black tonight. Okay, so I went ahead and kind of did some pre-work. Now, let's do a quick recap of what I did. So this is a 3-inch styrofoam ball. And you got your top marking. I call this the North Pole. Here is where the two halves kind of come together and get sealed. I call that the equator. And then there's a marking here at the bottom that I call that the South Pole. And last night you see me kind of do this paper trick where, I was using this makeshift paper tape here, going around and then marking it every so many inches or so. Okay, you can catch the live or you can catch the replay if you need more detailed instructions on that. But here's another hack here's another technique in terms of getting your markings on the styrofoam ball. What I have here is a rubber band. And I will at times use the rubber band. So I'll hold it here. This is the North Pole. And I'll hold it here. That's the South Pole. And then I'll just kind of eyeball it, making sure that it's that rubber band is running kind of in the center. I'll take a pen, and that's how I do my marking. And just mark it all the way around. And when I get back to my starting point, there, I'll take the rubber band off. So that blue line is the line that I just put on. Hope the camera can actually see it. I'll take my rubber band and I'll go perpendicular to that. So same thing, making sure that it's crossing here at the North Pole and then holding it at the South Pole, and then just kind of eyeballing it, making sure that the rubber band is kind of centered now in between these two spots. And I will mark it. And these do not have to be perfect. It can be a little bit off. It's not really going to show too much, so long as you don't have one piece that is super tiny and then one piece that is 3/4 the size of the ball. Those beads look really great. It's beautiful. Thank you, Kim. So many comments come to mind, but none fit to repeat here concerning you dropping the ball. Yes, I did drop the ball there. Okay, so then I'll do it 2 more times, this time kind of going in between those 2 sections that I marked. I'll place my rubber band, do my marking, then I'll place the rubber band in between these 2 sections and then do the marking again. Then I got a box cutter this time, and this box cutter is very, very sharp. So on all the markings that you did, you're going to just basically cut about a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch. And the idea is to just make a slit. You're not trying to slice this ball in half. Okay, and after you cut or you make your little slit, this is a artist palette knife here. And I'm just kind of widening up that cut a little bigger so that when we start placing our fabric and we start tucking it into these grooves, you'll have a much easier time doing so. Okay, so that's what I was doing. And I think I got, yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. So again, if I went too fast on that, if you catch the replay on last night's live, I take it a little bit slower. And you actually see me doing the construction of it. Okay, so fabric. I did make a template. Where is my template? Where is my template? Okay, why does this always happen when I'm on live? I can't find stuff. Anyway, I did make a template that looks like this. But this one, I realized, I mean, I've had I've had this template for almost 5 years. So it's kind of whittled down a little bit. And I made another template that was a little wider. So what I did was I took a cereal box and I cut a piece that was 2.5 inches wide by 6 inches long. And I kind of tapered it to just make this kind of leaf shape. And where is that template? Maybe it fell down. Yeah, well, I can't find it now. And so what I do with this is I will use this template and use it to mark my fabric. And we cut out our fabric pieces. So I'm going to use this black. And I got a little bit of the print on the fabric. And I'm going to use this blue again. I'm old. It's amazing what I get by with. Okay. So just like how we did last night, I'm just going to place my fabric right over one of the sections. And I'm going to start tucking in the fabric. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm using this palette knife and I'm just kind of tucking in the edges of the fabric into those grooves that I cut. And again, notice that I did start from the equator of the styrofoam and I'm just kind of rocking that palette knife down. If you don't have one of these are fairly inexpensive at craft stores like Michael's. But if you don't have one of these, if you have an upholstery needle, that'll work too. If you have, if you're a cake decorator, you might have a spatula that's about this size, or that'll work too. I actually used to use a cake decorator's spatula for this. Sandpaper is good for making templates. That's true, Pat. Sandpaper are great for making templates. Now, if in case you do have a little too much excess fabric, no problem. Just grab your scissors, trim it off. But make sure you're not trimming too much off. And you can tuck it in there. And we're done with our first piece. So let's do a blue piece now. Let's see how this is going to look. Oh, I think this will look pretty darn good. Okay, is everybody excited for this weekend? I know I am. It's been a long week back. And I got a little too much extra, so I'll trim this down. And let's see, I'll tuck that in, tuck that in. Okay. And there we go. You know, I used to use sandpaper as a template way back when. Cool thing about it is it doesn't slide all over the place. The bad thing about it, though, is, well, it does wear out rather quickly for, well, at least when I used to use it. Okay, now let's see if I can actually do this or how long. Okay, in case people are wondering, I actually learned this technique from, there's another YouTuber, what's her name? Not the Ornament Girl, but she actually does this style of ornaments. And this style of ornament is actually based upon a Japanese technique that I used to do when I was a kid that my grandmother taught me, and I never thought about making Christmas ornaments with it until I saw this one YouTuber. I can't, oh, what is her name? The Ornament Girl? No, not the Ornament Girl. Anyway, I thought I was watching her video, and she doesn't, or on this particular video that I was watching, she didn't have any verbal explanation. It was just background music and you just watching her do the ornament. But I was very, very familiar with the technique because, again, I used to do this as a kid, making more traditional Japanese ornaments. And I thought, you know what, I can do that. So that's when I started making these. And till this day, I'm still making these, and I give them away as gifts. So, if, oh gosh, if I can remember who that person was, I will put a link to it in the description below when this video goes on, or when the replay comes on. And I hope she didn't take the video down. Okay. Now, that's at the top. We don't worry about the top because we're going to be covering that up. Blue. Scotch tape and sandpaper templates to the back of a quilting ruler. No slipping, and it's great to line up cuts. That is very true. Has anybody ever tried using, what do you call that? Not gauze, but that medical tape where you can kind of wrap it around a Band-Aid. I know Karen Brown of Just Get It Done Quilts, she actually put that as like her tip as a hack. I always wanted to find out if that actually does work. Quick question, what is your favorite color, Kim? You want to take a wild guess, Kim? Because I'm actually using it right now. My favorite color is blue. Hey, Vicky. Okay. Yeah, it is pouring outside here in Southern California. It's been raining all day, and we need the rain. Oops, sorry, I just realized I was kind of out of camera. Okay, next piece. shifted it a little too. Let me take that out again. Let me place it a little better. And I'll tuck that in and tuck it there. Tuck it there. You know, it's so funny. Sometimes I take these ornaments. I do, from time to time, I will actually use public transportation to get to and from work. And when I do that, I will take a project like this with me and I will work on it on the bus. And it's so funny, never fails, that when I start the project, I get all these women just kind of watching me. And I'm just minding my own business. But by the time I have to get off the bus, I put my head up and I am surrounded by all these women just kind of watching me what I'm doing. And then I end up doing a mini class where I'm just kind of teaching them how to do stuff like this. Okay. Hey, John. I've never used it intentionally, but after lab work, I took it off, dropped it, and it stuck to the quilting ruler. It was a little hard to get off, but no residue. Oh. Rain is nice. Rained all night in Fresno. More rain in Fresno tomorrow and Sunday. Yes. Yes, Gwen. We need the rain here in California. Okay. And I got 3 more pieces, so I'll put another blue. Actually, let me just put on the last black one. Ow. After a while, your finger just starts to hurt from this little palette knife thing. And I did not line that up correctly, so I'm going to take it out. And let's do it all over again. So that's the beauty of this. If you find that maybe you didn't place your fabric on correctly, you can just pull it out and start over. Where is it? Where is it? I know there's a groove here somewhere. There it is. Okay. And I got a lot of excess on this one. Wow. Let's see, can I trim this? Tuck and tuck and tuck there, And we'll tuck this one there. And I'm just going to see if I can squeeze all this excess into one of the spots there. Okay. This would look good with gold, lame, and red and or green. Actually, that's a good point that you bring up there, because for the most part, I've been doing these ornaments with just, or this style of ornament with just two colors. You can do it multicolored. You don't necessarily have to stick with just the two color tone. I've done it where I've used the colors of the rainbow. I've done it where for different things, for different holidays, not just Christmas, but, you know, I made an Easter ornament once. I also use these ornaments to make embellishments for the wreaths for the door. And depending upon what holidays coming up, I'll just make the same style of ornament, but just change up your fabric to match the theme of the holiday. So you don't necessarily have to use just two different fabrics. You can do whatever you want with it, really, or just be creative with it. Okay, I'm actually kind of liking this black and blue theme here. Definitely not, well, the black is definitely not a traditional Christmas color, but it does, I did like that fabric because of the silver poinsettia that was on there. And I need to actually do something with this to make it a little bit, there we go, a little bit more neat. Yes, Pat, I found my groove. You need a leather thimble, Eric. Flexible, but it will protect your fingers. I made a bunch when I do hand quilting. A leather thimble. I never thought about using a leather thimble. That's actually a good idea. Interesting. Okay, this is the last one. I should look into that. Then again, I don't think I actually ever even seen a leather thimble. I've seen metal ones all over the place. Of course, everybody at quilt shows has those decorative thimbles, but a leather thimble. Have I ever seen a leather thimble? I know they do exist, don't get me wrong. I just never seen one in real life. Many years ago, my mom taught Sunday school, and two of her girls made beaded ornaments for her for Christmas. I still have them. They're over 50 years old. Wow. Over 50 years old. Now, that's what I call a keepsake ornament. You know what's really sad about my family is we don't have any kind of hand-me-down or like any kind of keepsake. Not even quilts or anything really. Unfortunately, my grandparents did, well, they were born and raised on the farm, and they actually raised my My dad and all my aunts also grew up on the farm, so they didn't really have much. And whatever was worthy of or keepsaking, I don't think they actually kept it. Although, I will say that before my grandparents both passed away, they gave the grandchildren a pretty hefty dollar amount based on their life insurance policy. So I'll be thankful for that. Okay, so black makes the blue pop. It really does make the blue pop. You're right about that, Pat. That's why I haven't seen you on, Kim. Other channels you had surgery, so glad you're healing very well. Yes, glad to see that Kim is here, that she's healing well. I have a bunch of deer hide and can make you one if you like. Kim, I would love to have one, but make sure that you are taking care of yourself first, especially in the condition that you are in. But I would love to have one. Okay, so this is our ornament. Now, I'm not going to worry about the top, and I'm not going to worry about the bottom here because, well, as you can kind of see, it's going to all get covered up anyway. Okay. But now comes the fun part because we can start embellishing. So I think I'm going to actually use this tonight. And I'm going to use a red ribbon instead. Yeah, so let's do that. And then well, let's see how this goes. I forgot to turn on my glue gun, so that's warming up. But while that warms up, let's talk. I am taking care of me. I want this healing process to get done so I can be me again. Oh gosh. I know that feeling, Kim. We always make ornaments on Thanksgiving to keep the kids occupied. These would be great New Year. Really nice for keepsakes. Yep. Actually, you know, when I was making the traditional style of these ornaments, or the traditional Japanese style of these ornaments, it was always done on New Year's Eve. My grandmother would, well, I wouldn't say she forced me to do it, but she highly encouraged me to do it. And she said, you know, if you don't make your ornament, you're not going to have good luck for the next year. So, yeah, that was Grandma's little guilt trip on getting ornaments done, which, by the way, was just her own folklore to not chorus, but to encourage others to help her. Okay, so I wonder if is it warm enough? Oh, yep, it is. Okay, so I'm just running a string of glue right there on the seam. We're going to cover the seams up with this red ribbon here. Now, what I could do actually, if I end up doing these beads again along the seam, I could actually just skip the gluing and just put the beads or start pinning the beads right here on the seam. But we'll see if I end up doing that on this one. You know, sometimes you have plan A, and then when you start making it, you start finding out, oh, wait, plan B looks a little better. Then suddenly you get some crazy idea in plan C, D, and E, sometimes all the way to F, kind of comes into play. So, and that's how I usually create. I always have what I think is a solid plan at first, and then reality kind of sets in, and then I start asking the question, well, what if I do this? Or what if I do that? And that's when changes start to happen, and I get sidetracked. Okay, I'm just going to cut it there and then go down the next side. Start there. I am going all the way down. Hey, Nancy. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, now the glue is actually being absorbed into the fabric, so, whoops, okay. I'm gonna have to clean this part up a little bit. Metallic cording. I do have that. This metallic or this cording is actually a little too thin for my taste. What I have found is that the thinner, or if you use something really thin, and if there are imperfections in how you tucked it or how you made your, when you were cutting the styrofoam ball, if there's a little bit of imperfections there, maybe you went off or kind of went curved or something happened, this, if you use a very thin cording, it's not gonna hide it. It's actually gonna make it a lot more noticeable. So a lot of times I will use, like, this is a ribbon that's about, what is this, 5/16 of an inch? Oh, it's a 1/4 inch wide. So I will use a ribbon to kind of, or something a little bit, not so wide, but a little bit wider, just to kind of hide my imperfections here in the, when I cut the seams, or maybe I didn't tuck the fabric in really good. But when I notice that I do have a really nice cut, straight cut, and then I tucked in the fabric really nicely, yeah, that's when I'll consider using something like this, because it won't, again, it won't accentuate all the imperfections. Oh, am I already back at the start? Yep. Okay, I'm not going to cut it this time. I'm just going to continue on. And let me put one dollop there. Okay, so what is everybody's plans for this weekend? Or are we just going to be hanging out on YouTube, jumping from live to live to live stream? I do remember there was one particular incident where a whole bunch of us were watching the Missouri Star Quilt Company live, and we were all saying hi to each other because we all knew each other from other channels. And then I think, who was it, Misty or somebody was on there saying, wow, you guys all know each other. Which was so funny. Whoa, I just put a huge dollop of glue right there. I'm going to probably have to smooth that out a little better. We got the news cancer is shrinking and his upper lobe has inflated, but he has pneumonia. Best news, it hasn't spread anywhere else. That's great news, Nancy. Great news. I know there's a lot of us that are falling ill, myself included, but not that serious. That is wonderful news, Nancy. Hope he gets better and upward and onward at this point. Yeah. You know, my father actually passed away from cancer. Well, his situation was he was one of those male characters that never liked doctors, so we all knew that something was wrong with his health, but he never listened to us. And for the longest time, we all told him, hey, there's something wrong with you, Dad. You better go check yourself out at a doctor. And he never did. Then finally, when he went to the doctor, they told him he had 6 months to live. He actually lived for 9 months after that. But, you know, he was, where was I going with this story? Yeah, he ended up passing away because of the cancer was so far in advance. But, you know, he lived a full life. I mean, even though he was still fairly young at 78, you know, my dad did do a lot. He was a firefighter for the city of Honolulu in Hawaii. And he was a church leader. And during his funeral, or when he was in his final days at the, we didn't have him in a hospital. We actually put him in a hospice care facility. And when he was there, oh my gosh, it was just nonstop people just kind of coming in, paying their respects. And then when the funeral finally, or when we did have the funeral service, I think we had close to over 4,000 people show up. So, yeah, that was the effect that my dad had on the community. And it wasn't a sad event. It was just actually a very joyous occasion that a lot of people just kind of shared stories and memories about my father. Although, I will say I did kind of have a... Well, in the end, it was great, but growing up, we had a bit of an estranged relationship. I will say that. I have fatter cording. I like this technique. I may make one tomorrow and embellish the heck out of it. Go for it, Gwen. He was loved and respected. What a blessing. Yes, it truly was, Kim. It truly was. But, you know, there's actually a video that I was kind of thinking about doing. I'm still kind of on the fence about it, but there is a quilt that I did make for, it was actually for my mother, but it was in honor of my father. And I was kind of thinking, do I want to tell the story about that quilt? Because it's actually very, very personal to me. And, you know, anytime you share something that personal, it makes you just feel vulnerable. But I don't know. I'm kind of deciding whether or not I do want to put a video together or if I don't want to put a video together. But I'm kind of leaning on the, kind of leaning towards actually doing it. But it's going to take me time because I want to make sure that the quality on this particular video is what I want it to be. So, I don't know. We lost my daughter Julie to cancer last year on December 12th. Only found out it was cancer 10 days before. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Gwen. Okay, every time I put these greens on, it always looks like some, like hair. Okay. But that's the way I wanted it. That's the way, I want it. That's the way, I want it. Yes, I do know that the lyrics are, that's the way I like it. But, oh, wait, not that scissors. Let's use these. Oh, why is it not cutting? Or am I just, or are these dull? My makeshift wire cutters. Well, let's just bend it back then. Okay, so we got that. Now I can do a little bit of a bow here. Yeah, I think that's big enough. I'm just going to use the same red ribbon to make a bow. And this is nothing fancy. Actually, let me do it this way. This will be a lot easier for me. Okay. Whenever I make bows like this, well, I don't think my bows are very pretty. I'll just say that. But I don't know. People always tell me, how did you do that bow? And I'm like, just put a bunch of loops together. Okay. This is a different, or I don't do this technique of bow making very often. But sometimes when I just want to get it done, this is how I do it. And I'm just putting loop after loop after loop. Then when I think I got it, yep, that'll be good enough. I got my pin here. And I'm just going to insert the pin right there. Try not to poke myself down the center. Oh, wait, go a little towards. Okay, that's good enough. Then I will make my little hanger. Is that too long? Just kind of eyeball it. You're making as Wilson. Now, where have I heard that expression before? And then we can fluff the bowl a little bit. Never mind making bowls with wired ribbon, but unwired was a nightmare. And I covered up my top hole, so I'm kind of guesstimating that the top is there somewhere. And I can kind of tease it. Oh, this is a very long hanger, but that's okay. There we go. Okay, now let's see, what else do we have? What do you think? Blue, pink, and purple? Or maybe we'll put some of these beads on? Or should I do these beads again? This is actually the most time-consuming part because, well, last night after I went off live, that's when I started putting all of these beads. And yeah, it's one by one, putting the bead onto a little small dressmaker's pin. And then, if I can, why can't I get this container open? So this is a 1-inch dressmaker's pin. I don't know if, yeah, there's the camera, but I was placing these beads one by one onto the pin and then inserting it onto the ornament there. I don't know. Should I do the same thing? What do you guys think? Or we might not be able to finish it tonight if I go that route, but I don't know. It might look pretty good, actually. Well, I definitely want to do something here at the bottom, so let's see. Maybe I'll do this big one with, maybe I'll do this. I need a longer one. What about silver with white top? Silver with white top. If I had a silver bead, I would actually do that. That would be a great combination. I don't have a silver, though. Okay, I forgot there's a lot of glue right there. Oh, there it goes. Hopefully that'll stay. Simple. Simple is good. Yes. Simple sometimes is good. Sometimes I get a little bit too carried away having too much embellishment and being too decorative. Maybe this case I'll use. Okay, these are teeny tiny, they call them seed beads. Oh. So, oops. So what I will do is I just lost a couple of them. Oh well, I have to vacuum tomorrow. I will take a pin and I will insert these little teeny tiny seed bead. Hi, Vilio. And maybe we'll put one of these pearls on there. And I'll keep it simple. So where is the equator? I'm just kind of feeling for where that center line was. And I think it's right there. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do one of those on each and not go too crazy with it. Pearl and trying to find where the center is. There it is. I can feel it right there. So now that looks like a face. Let's see. You know what? This is how last night's ornament, when I was doing this one last night, it started off with just these things here, and then I just went crazy and just started adding all these other beads. So I might end up doing that again. Who knows? Like I say, plan A turns into plan B. Then before you know it, you get XYZ. Oh, put that one down. It's always easier to do it. Pick up the bead like that. These things are so tiny. But they're effective in that it'll stop the pearl from falling off the pin. That's right there. I like lots of bling. Me too, Gwen. Me too, sometimes. Okay. Oh, yep. There it is. A little crooked, but I'm not going to be so worried about it. Ooh. Picking up a little seed bead there. And I'll put the pearl there. Yep. Yeah, I just have a feeling I know I'm gonna do this where I'm just gonna put pearls all the way up and down on each of those seams. So I might as well just stop myself from fighting it and just go ahead and do it. One of Mom's ornaments is covered in silver sequins and the beads are all different colors. I always reminded Mom of a disco ball and she loved it. Hey, nothing wrong with the disco ball. Oh, you know, I do have sequins somewhere. I should actually take those out. I gotta find them, though. Yeah, it's amazing. Somehow, as disorganized as I am, I can always find stuff. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I put the pearls all the way up and down? I'm going to be debating about it all night. A pearl all-nighter. Yep. No? Okay, Kim says no. Well, I don't know. Let me just do one more. Let me see how it looks. I can always check it out. Nah, let's not. But you know, I'm going to go back and forth about this all night, so. I'll take that one off. I still feel like it needs something, though. What else do I have? Let's see. I do have these kind of cheap flowers, but do I want to put that there? Well, let's give it a try. Well, you can barely even see the flower, so if I do that, nah, I think this is good on this one. Should I add more? Should I just leave it? I think I'm just going to leave it. Keep this one a little less decorative. Okay. Okay, so that's my ornament for tonight, guys. And well, you know, I'm going to be debating about putting the pearls on. So yeah, I don't want to keep you guys on all night. I think it's great just as it is. Well, oh, okay. I do have a tendency of actually overly embellishing stuff, and that's how this one came about. And once I started putting with these beads, I just couldn't help myself, and I just went with it and just kind of kept going. And then I eventually just had to say, okay, we need to stop because this is just getting to be too much. So, yeah, that's that one. And then there's that one. Okay, so day 2, 12 days of makes. Day 2 is done. So, if you haven't heard, I'm actually trying to challenge myself to do 12 days in a row where I'll just go live and I will make something. We already did 2 ornaments, so maybe tomorrow we'll do something different tomorrow, definitely. And I'm thinking maybe because I need to do another wreath, so maybe that's what we'll do tomorrow. And I think I have enough supplies to actually make a wreath. Well, if not, I can always go shopping, right? Just need another excuse to buy more supplies. Okay, but guys, here's our ornament for tonight. This was the ornament from last night's live. It's basically the same fabrics. The big difference is that on this one, instead of using the print, I actually used the black portion of the fabric. Now this fabric, if you don't recognize it, and if you've been following along with the Christmas sew along, I still had these large scraps that I was using. And last night, or on this ornament, I was actually using the print, or trying to fussy cut the print side of it out. On this ornament, I kind of cut more of this black side of it out. So, yep. What time do I go live? Out of respect for a lot of other YouTubers that I'm good friends with, tonight I do know that Becca was on earlier, and I think she kind of kept it short because she wasn't feeling well. But out of respect for some of these other YouTubers that I do know of, I will probably go on late at night, say around 8:30 Pacific time. So kind of just like tonight. After everyone else is done with their live sessions. I do know T Quilts does hers. I think she starts at 8 she starts at 6 p.m. Pacific time, which is 8 p.m. her time. And then she just goes for about 2 hours. I might go, we'll see if I can actually do this, but I might go on live maybe in the morning if I have things. So, Right now, it's not, well, if I don't go on in the morning, it'll definitely be on later, again, around this time at night. But, Gwen, just to answer your question, it's kind of unpredictable. The problem with my schedule is that it's always unpredictable, being that I do have a regular 9 to 5 job, and sometimes that does require my attention outside of 9 to 5. So I used to, or I was for a while trying to go on live every Thursday night at 7, between 7 and 7:30, but these days it's just getting to be too hard to actually schedule that on a Thursday night. So I'm trying to find a consistent time where I can go on live. And the other problem is, though, there's so many other YouTubers that we're all following, and I don't want to compete with them, and I don't want to be disrespectful to them because, again, a lot of them are good friends of mine. So I want to be supportive of their channels as well. So, but yeah, bottom line is that I might go on in the morning. So just pay attention to the notifications if I do. But probably not. I'll say that for right now. So let me just flat out come out and say, okay, tomorrow night I will go on live, probably starting at around 8:30, and we will be making a wreath, 8:30 Pacific time. So stay tuned for that. Or, of course, I will be posting or giving a notice on YouTube for before I go on live. So, yeah. A long roundabout answer to your question. Both are beautiful. I've enjoyed watching you make them. Well, thank you, Kim. My grandma and I would make ornaments for everyone in the family. After Grandpa passed, she stopped doing Christmas. Aww. Well, Jim, you got to get Grandma to do Christmas again. It's particularly hard since several are doing more videos for Advent. Yeah. Pat, yeah, right around Christmas, December, right after Thanksgiving, there's so many people that do this Vlogmas on YouTube. So I was kind of thinking about doing it, but then I was like, you know what? I don't want to stress myself out with trying to join in on the bandwagon. So yeah, I figured just doing 12 makes on a live session. Maybe we'll do more. I don't know. But 12 days straight of just doing live sessions like this, that'll be good for me. And if it ends up being a midnight thing, then hey, at least, thank God for the replay, right? So 8:30 works. Okay. 8:30 it is. PM Pacific Standard Time. He passed on Christmas Eve and both are gone now. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Jim. What up? That must be, well, yeah, that I know that is hard around the holidays to have somebody pass, because every holiday you get a reminder of it. So yeah, I did have a very good family friend who was actually shot and murdered on Christmas. So every year for the family, it's always a constant reminder. Even though it's been almost 14 years, the pain is still there when Christmas comes around. So yeah. But Christmas, I mean, these days they try to stay positive about it. They talk about only good memories and they try not to focus in on the bad stuff of what happened. But yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for the live and the company. This was my social life for a while. I really enjoy it. Kim, onward and upward. Okay. Well, at least you got good news that you're healing well and that it's going in a positive direction. So that's great, Kim. But we're Happy to be here on YouTube to keep you company. It's almost 1 a.m. here, EST. Well, I'm going to wrap up here, Pat. So, thank you guys all for joining tonight. Hopefully, I can spend tomorrow setting up the face cam so that you guys can actually see me when I'm talking to you. It's a little weird that I'm talking through my hands, doing a little bit of sign language here. Okay, but thank you guys so much for joining tonight. And we shall see you tomorrow night, 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. Mwah. Love you guys. Now go out and, well, get some rest first, and then come back tomorrow morning and let's all create something. Take care, guys. Hey, Sean. Okay.